Hi, I'm Jeannie. Welcome to Mimi Craft, your home for all things creative and DIY on a budget. I make all the mistakes so you don't have to. Hello, it's me. Back at you with part 2. If you enjoyed today's video, please take a second to like, subscribe if you haven't already, and hit that notification bell so that you know every time I upload. Now, let's craft! Project number 1 is a tea light holder. You'll need 54 of Dollar Tree's tumbling tower blocks, as close to the same size as possible. Let's start by making both the top and the bottom of your tea light holder, gluing 2 sets of blocks together as you see here. I recommend using wood glue. I'm using Dollar Tree's wood glue. I recommend filling in all of your seams with wood filler. My favorite is Elmer's in the color Natural. It really makes your project look way more high-end. Wipe off the excess wood filler with a damp cloth. I like to use a t-shirt, or you can sand it off. Glue together 2 sets of 5 end to end. Glue 4 sets of 3 end to end. And don't forget the wood filler. Mark each of the long sections into quarters. I hate using a ruler, so I usually just take a piece of paper and I folded it into quarters and marked where those folds were and used it as a template to mark where the measurements are on the project. Place these 2 pieces 4 inches apart, bottoms and tops matching up. I found it easiest to use this Dollar Tree little cutting board, and I taped the pieces down. It made it a lot easier. You're going to glue on the 1st and 3rd lines on each one of those 1 3-block piece. Get it as straight as possible. Place 1 single block on your middle marking on each side, making sure that the end of the block is even with the edge. I put a block underneath it to support it while the glue dried. Check it in both directions to make sure that it's straight. When it's completely dry, remove all the tape and flip it over to the other side and just repeat. These are going to be the twins to the front side. You can use a spear block to make sure that they line up. Slowly and carefully turn it and make sure things are nice and straight. Next, you're going to be gluing blocks to the ends. Now you're going to have to sort through blocks and make sure you have blocks that fit perfectly. Some of the blocks are shorter, some are longer, but if you fish through the box and get the right size, you'll be a whole lot happier. This is just a side view of what gluing those side blocks on is going to look like. Add one block to the inside of each of the two middle shelves. You know the drill. Mark on the top and bottom where the pillars need to be glued down. Do each separately because of the irregularity of the blocks. Put wood glue both on the pillars and on the top and bottom before you glue these pieces together. Let it sit for about 30 or 60 seconds, get a little bit tacky. You'll get much better hold. Glue them one at a time and allow them to dry thoroughly. For extra stability, I added screws to the bottom. It's really important that you drill pilot holes first. Now I wanted to countersink these, meaning I didn't want them to show. So after I drilled the holes, I took a drill bit the same size as the screw top and drilled in just a little bit. Then when I screwed in the little screw, it ended up at a level lower than the wood. I used wood filler to fill that in. You probably want to do this on the top as well. I didn't, but I think it would be a lot sturdier if you did. And this is the outcome. Please note that these are battery operated tea lights. Please don't use an open flame on these projects. Apparently this is a good bird cooker too. And here it is in the dark. Here it is painted white. And another ceramic bird roast. Project number 2 is table decor, and you'll need 45 blocks the same size. Make one base, the same as the last project. Glue together 4 sets of 3 end to end, and don't forget the filler. Next, you're going to put ends on these, 1 block on each end. Glue and fill a set of 5, 4, 3, and 2 sets of blocks, respectively. You'll also need a single. Glue the rectangles you made earlier at 90 degrees as seen on screen. Make sure you knock one over and fiddle around as much as possible for the camera. This is the placement of the blocks. They're going to be placed at a 45-degree angle. Do your best to get them as close to that angle as possible. This is just a dry fit. Now watch me glue and listen to some music. this is how I glued the last one in, because it was going to be kind of in the corner. I don't know if I needed to do that, but I did. And you're going to notice that this sticks out a little bit at the bottom. That's because we're going to use that last piece as opposed to attach it to the base. And Chandler Bing says, could your rag be any dirtier? Side view. Some of the blocks that I use fit a little bit loose, so I just gave them extra support by gluing these little joints like this. That's my left finger. You're welcome. I used a toothpick wrapped in a little piece of cotton ball and wet down to remove the glue. I'll show you exactly how to do that later. Find the center of your base so that you can glue your project to it. Add glue to both your base and to your little pillar there. You should wait before you glue it down. I've kind of had it at this point. Then I put a little something behind it to hold it still while it dried. After it's dry, I definitely recommend putting a screw in the bottom. Again, use a really small screw, drill a pilot hole, make sure you're in the right place, and then there I am putting the screw in. That'll keep it a lot more steady. And here she is. This is how she looks painted white. Project 3 is a lantern, and you'll need 150 blocks as close to the same size as possible. First, we'll make both the base and the lid. I'm going to start by gluing 27 blocks together as seen on screen. 2 sets of 27. If you look close, you'll see that I only did 8 rows instead of 9 on the top one. Sorry. Next, glue 8 sets of 3. These are going to be trim pieces for the top and bottom. I decided to sand the wood filler this time because these blocks were a little bit rough. If you decide to sand, you'll need to wipe off the sawdust with a damp cloth. That sounded like Chandler Bing again. Make 2 squares with these 8 sets of 3, gluing them on the sides as you see here. Start by gluing them into shapes of letter L. And spin them around like that. and glue them into squares. Glue one square to the base and one square to the lid. Or more accurately, glue a base to a square and the lid to a square. The base to a square and the lid to, you know what I mean. Here I'm making sure that they're centered, just spinning around and making sure they're exactly where I want them. I recommend putting a book or some other kind of weight on top just to make sure that it seals real nice. Make a square with 4 single blocks. This will be your handle. Glue the handle directly in the center of the lid. As always, remove any excess glue with the damp cloth. Glue 8 sets of 4 blocks end to end. I sanded this also after the filler because I was having a hard time getting the same size block, so I sanded some of them down to make sure they look nice. Wiping off the sawdust. The 4 pillars of the lantern are going to look like this. Glue the pillars into the corners of the base as seen on screen. Use tape to hold the top corners together. Reinforce the inside seam with a bead of glue. I recommend wood glue. If you use hot glue, it shows. Here's a better look at the toothpick trick for cleaning up excess glue. I got this idea from the nail salon. When you go, that's how they clean up your nail polish. Make sure that cotton is wet. Repeat for the other 3 corners. Place the lid on while this is drying. That'll ensure that it'll fit later. I was having trouble with the bottom pillars, staying put, so I put tape on those as well. Place weight on the top as it dries. Now, I liked how this looked so much, I wanted to stop and take some photos even before it was done. I thought it looked real pretty this way. Off camera, I glued 12 sets of 3 end to end. This was to create 3 rings around the lantern. I started by gluing the middle ring on, the very center of the lantern. And then I took a square to make sure that the right side was even, meaning the right side of the 3-block set was even with that right side of the lantern. I taped this piece down so that I could turn the lantern to put on the next section. Note the glue placement for this and the subsequent pieces. This was a previous attempt using a different method. Repeat for the other 2 sides. I used rubber bands to act as clamps. Before the glue was dry, I checked each side with a level to make sure it was where I wanted it to be, and then I repeated this for the other 2 rings. And this is what I ended up with. This is how it looks during the day. And at night. I think they're so pretty together. And here it is painted white. this be pretty for wedding decor? And here's white at night. And at the very last minute, I decided to try Waverly chalk paint in the color celery, but I only got a couple of them done. And here they are. As always, guys, thank you so much for watching. Please let me know in the comment section below which of these projects are your favorite, which of the colors are your favorite. Until the next time, bye!